everything takes longer than you want it to in life. So that's part of the lesson that, I have to learn, and probably you have to internalize too, because I'm sure that wherever you are right now, you're sitting there and you're saying, I wish this was happening faster. Like I thought it would happen faster. I want it to happen, right? This is taking too long. And that is kind of the story of life. So it's the same thing over here. So I was just realizing today that I literally started this embarked on this journey like a year ago. So it was like a year ago tomorrow that I started the Facebook group, the High Ticket Sales Collaborative. And it was a couple of weeks before that I signed up for my first high ticket program. And at that moment, I had no offer, no idea what I was doing or who I was even going to, who my avatar was really. I had no website. I had zero social media presence, right? And I had no idea how to launch an online coaching program. So what I had was experience selling high ticket programs for some coaches. And a feeling that was good. It was lucrative and there was no expense involved in it. But I had this desire within me and a vision that I wanted to create a business. And part of that was selfish, right? I wanted to create a business so that I could leverage my time and not always have to be, if I'm not selling, I'm not making money. So I want to create a business that would actually make money separate from me doing everything. I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren so that they would know who I was someday when they're older and maybe I'm not in my great brain or whatever. But they would see, this is what they call me Gabby. This is what Gabby did, and this is what she was about. And I like the idea of this online stuff because it's documented. And so there was that. And I like financial freedom, right? I wanted to, like you guys, have a life where because I already had a taste of that because I've been an entrepreneur for a while, to be able to go where I want to go, do what I want to do, and still know that I can work from anywhere and make money even when I'm not necessarily, putting in the time. Although I, want the caveat of that to be, I do work really hard, right? So I'm not, don't have the illusion that I'm not going to have to work. It's just that I want to kind of call the shots, right? You guys get that. Right. So that being said, I can look back and say, oh my God, I can't even imagine, I can't even believe what has happened in a year. Like, it is amazing to me. However, at the moment, I feel like I'm not where I want to be. Okay, it's kind of life. So I can give you the hope of saying that you're going to look back a year from now and you're going to say, oh my God, like I am so much further along this path. I have accomplished so much. I've learned so much. I've made money, right? And, I would have liked to have made $1 million in my first year, but I'm well on my way, right, to getting this business to $1 million, which doesn't necessarily mean I'll make $1 million, but because there's expense involved. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so, I'm looking back and I'm trying to celebrate these moments, right? And I'm saying, okay, well, I have, brought probably 20 something people into my own programs, right? I've literally closed business for myself. And so that makes me feel like, okay, that's a huge turning point. I have 900 people in my Facebook group, right? I have people who come to me and tell me they were referred to me and they know who I am. And they sign up for my programs. And I'd never even, and I'm like, well, who referred you? And there are people that I don't even know who said, well, so-and-so said that you're the person. So, I know that there's this momentum is happening, even though it doesn't, I feel it's like super slow. So about 6 months ago, I decided I was going to start doing Facebook ads. And like, I literally have spent a ton of money on funnels, hiring people, and on some ads, but nothing has gotten off the ground yet, right? It's been like 3 false starts. And it's really frustrating. But the good news is that next week, I'm going to start Facebook ads again. And so there's progress and there's hope and there's confidence. Like, I'm confident that I'm a lot further along than I was, and that these Facebook ads are really going to work, and that you guys are going to have calls getting booked on your calendars, and you're going to be able to start selling for the Freedom Shift and selling into the High Ticket Sales Alliance. So that's my goal for you. And then I have coaches who are coming through my program, who I'm helping to develop their high ticket program. And first, I have to teach them how to sell their own program, because I guarantee you that if they can't sell their own program, that you're not going to be able to sell their program. So it would do you no favors for me to say, oh, okay, well, you want to start up a program? Well, here's Cammie, he'll take your calls, because all I would be doing to you is wasting your time when you actually could go out and make some money at your other job right now. If you to kind of get food, clothing, shelter, and a wedding that you're planning. So with all of that being said, there is a lot happening. There's a lot of really good things happening. So we're going to have programs to sell for coaches, and those programs are going to include complete done-for-you systems where we'll literally, I've got a whole team in place now where we will build the entire funnel and guarantee that the leads are going to work, and that we will sell for those people who we build the funnel for. So you guys will be able to sell that. You guys will be able to sell for those people, right? So that's all coming along, and that's going to be really, it's kind of going to take the market by storm, because if you've been following along much with the world of high ticket marketing, there's 1 million people that have these agencies out there, and they measure their success by how many leads they generate at how much cost, right? Mm-hmm. So they say, well, I got you an appointment on your calendar and it was under $100 to get that appointment, or it was, $150. And now you can sell them a $10,000 program, which sounds like amazing. But if half of those appointments are no-shows and the other half are living in their ex-husband's basement and trying to get some free advice on how to get off food stamps, those are really not qualified leads. So I don't want you guys wasting your time on stuff like that. And I've already figured that out because I've already been through that experience. So the point being that when we develop the funnel for people, we are going to sell for them and guarantee those people that we're going to put qualified leads onto the calendar and that we're going to sell for them. So marketing agencies are going to start getting nervous, because I'm going to start, and some of the people that I'm working with, we're going to start calling people out. We don't care about your shit numbers. We don't care that you can get leads for 10 cents. If those leads are crap, you're taking people's money and spending tons of money on Facebook ads, not to mention the money that people are spending to, pay the fee for the agency. So that's all in the works. And so, this program that we're calling it the Coach's Secret. And when we roll it out, we will have one of the top marketers in the internet marketing world who's been doing this for 30 years, literally, with Nightingale Conant. So I don't know if you guys have met John Bender, but I do a lot of stuff with him. And he is in our group, but he's pretty busy. So he's not all that participatory in there. But anyway, so John will be the marketing guru. There's me with a high ticket sales experience. And we've got one of the top ClickFunnels certified partners who's going to be building these funnels. And we've got copywriters and we've got people who can do traffic, Facebook ads. So it's a really good mix. So that's one thing that's happening, which is really positive. And then I have another partner who also is starting up a Facebook ads agency, a marketing agency. I shouldn't just say Facebook ads, but primarily that's what they will focus on. And he'll be building funnels for people and doing the same thing, like guaranteeing them an ROI on their investment to build their funnel and bringing our team in to sell. So this is behind the scenes stuff that I am doing. So you know that, stuff is going to happen. And when it does, you guys are going to be like, oh my God, we're busy. So take this time to trust, take this time to learn, right? There's more than enough to learn. And I know that practicing would be good, but I don't want you practicing on crappy leads. So, we got to wait until we get some decent ones. But it's all happening, right? So I'm going to start doing these calls every week and I'll give you guys updates on where we're at. But primarily the calls are going to be to help you with, whatever's going on in your head, sales wise and all of that. Yeah. Questions?
That sounds good. Just the fact that you said everything's in place and it's all happening. That's definitely where I was wondering at. I knew it was happening. I had the confidence in you, but just the update to know what's going on makes me feel a lot better. Kind of keep me better in the loop.
Yeah. It's important to know.
So you said, we're going to start out selling like the high ticket alliance. How many current leads are you getting now? Are you still getting a lot of Dan Lok students?
Yes. Well, I haven't been really promoting it as much to the high ticket sales people as I have been to the coaches, because I really want to get you guys busy. So, and I will always take in salespeople. But most of the stuff that I've been doing has been on the coaching side. Okay. So right now I have, 5 people, 5 of you who will be the coaching staff. So if we bring more people on, they're great, but they're going to come in, they'll be in line to kind of get busy. So, but if you guys have connections and you've got people who you can bring in, that's great. Okay. But everything I'm doing right now is pretty much organic. So it's kind of just the relationships I'm getting with people, the referrals that I'm getting. So I don't have any like lead flow that's consistently coming in until these Facebook ads get in. But I've got a big chunk of money that I've put aside that I'm going to invest into the Facebook ads. And I have somebody who's doing them who has done this for multi 7-figure businesses. So he's a crackerjack. So I'm expecting that it's going to, it'll take a little time to work itself out, but I'm expecting that within a month, we're going to be looking really good there.
That's good. That sounds good.
Yeah. How about you, Cammie?
My only thing was, of course, I don't mind being patient. I don't mind waiting. That's fine. The only thing was me, of course, the confidence thing, which I messaged you about. So I'm slowly starting to get that out of my mind now. Am I going to be able to close these leads that you bring in?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Well, yeah. So I want to talk about that because that's like kind of one of the big questions. So Cammie had this question about, I still have this lack of confidence that I'm going to be able to do this, right? To close these high ticket offers. And, that's common, right? We all have to kind of work on our confidence, right? Which is why it's so important to create the morning manifesto. Because in our subconscious brain, we have these ingrained belief systems, and we have things and experiences from our past where something we did didn't work out that well, right? So failure, right? Which in our shift, we're going to start saying, well, nothing is really a failure. It's just a learning experience that got us to where we are today, right? So the morning manifesto is where you set your vision. And if you continue to like reprogram your brain, it is going to work, right? Because what you do is you disallow the negative thoughts. So what I suggested to Cami was to actually write down on, take a blank piece of paper and just write down all that negative stuff that's in your head. Like all the reasons why you are not going to be able to do this. Like what you really, really believe deep down inside. Because you have to acknowledge that stuff. You cannot just suppress it and say, I pretend that I didn't feel that, or I pretend I didn't think it. It's almost like you have to realize there's like different parts of you, and that part is like scared, right? It's kind of like the little kid in you that, did something wrong when you were in the second grade and you got in trouble. And it's like somebody didn't like feel bad for it, right? So it's almost like you have to be like, all right, you get to talk now. Like, what is it? What are you worried about? What's the problem? And once it comes out, it's like anything, right? Once you face something, you start to realize that it's not as bad once it's in the light of day as it seemed when it was like in the dark recesses of your head, right? Now tell me how that worked for you, because I'm assuming you did it.
Yeah, I did it. I wrote everything out, and what I actually got from it was when I'd look at it, I'd say okay, and then more things would start coming, and I start writing it out, and then when I'd look at it, I'd just think to myself, okay, are these things actually true? And then I'm like, they're not true. They're not as true as they are when they're on paper. As in, when I kept thinking about it, I kept thinking, you know what, they're so true. But when I wrote it down on paper, there was a meh to it. It wasn't as strong anymore.
Yeah.
I started losing its focus because I had acknowledged it, and then those beliefs slowly started to go away, and they started to like not come into my mind so often.
Yeah. So, two things that I can recommend. One, and I'm trying to think of the book, but it was definitely Dale Carnegie. And I think the name of the book might have been Stop Worrying and Start Living.
Yes, I have that book.
Okay. And he has a thing in there that's like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
And when you get that out, it's like, can I live with that if that happens? Right? And I mean, it might be the worst that can happen is I'm going to die. Well, you're not going to live with it, but you're going to die, right? Can you live with the fact that you're going to die? Yeah, well, I guess so, because we all are, right? So it's kind of like de-energizing those things that are the big worries and being able to kind of think them through so that they have less of a charge with them. So that would be a good book to be reading, which I'm sure you can get online. And, the other thing is I heard, and this was one of my metaphysical guys, I don't know if it was Emmett Fox or one of them, but he said, every time a thought comes into your head that is negative, and you start becoming conscious of that, even if it's like, I am just such a loser, or what a jerk I am, or what an idiot that I just did that, right? Because, I mean, I do that all the time, right? I'm like, oh, you're such an idiot. But I have this thing that pops into my head that says, cancel that thought. And it's kind of like I programmed myself to recognize when I do that. And then I consciously say, no, you're really not an idiot. It's too bad that happened, right? Or that wasn't the best thing that happened, but you know, you're actually pretty smart. Or whatever you have to do to start. It's all awareness in a lot of cases too. Like we've allowed the negativity to kind of, fester. It's kind of like mold. It's like if you don't do something about it, it just keeps growing, right? Or cancer or something. So when you start to recognize, oh, I can probably start stopping it, right? It's not that it will ever totally go away because we are human, but let's start shifting, the way that we allow our brains to control our day-to-day life. And it'll be a really good thing. You guys are young, so, as you go forward in relationships, you have kids, all these things start happening in your life. It's really good to have programmed yourself for that because it will automatically carry on to the people around you, right? You'll just hear yourself saying stuff. When they say stuff negative, you'll be like, yeah, turn that around, cancel that thought. Definitely. So try that. And, the more you can envision, I think about like people, well, you're going through the 25K in 25 days, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going through that, even though, it may not be that applicable at the moment because you're not really selling anything, but I actually have an idea about that. I talk about this shifting the thought about selling, from this desperation of I have to do good, I have to convince this person, I have to coerce this person, I got to get the money out of them, to it's not about you. It's just not about you. It's about serving them and coming there with the intention to help them to figure out if this is a good step for them. And when you kind of do it that way, it takes some of the pressure off, right? Because if you go into it assuming that every single person should do this, and if they don't, that's a failure on your part, then sales is going to be really hard. Because even if you're closing at 50%, which is a really high close ratio, you're still getting 50% of the people who are rejecting what you're offering, which can feel like they're rejecting you, which is not the case at all, right? So we have to be confident people to be in sales because we have to be able to recognize that it's not really about us.
Yeah.
So what's come up for you this week, Jerry?
This week I've been actually on a project. So I've been doing a lot of calls this week actually. And, you speaking to that about rejection. And it seems like, when you get on a call and you have 3 or 4 calls in a row and they're just not interested in anything, that it does start to kind of creep in and make you feel bad. But then when you do get that one that's, really happy to be on the phone with you, as soon as you get off the phone, whether you sold anything or not, it just makes you feel that much better. So it is kind of that roller coaster of emotion that you kind of have to keep under control. And I've been working with that a lot lately. Plus also me being a hands-on guy, the more that I've been on the phone lately, the more competence I've come to gain, which has definitely helped me in my confidence overall. And it just, just keep going in my journey. And, I feel like I'm getting better and better every day. So.
Well, you are. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? You're not going to go backwards, so you can only go forward, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really, yeah. I mean, if you think of it that way.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about how far you've come in a year. I guess my technically my journey started in October or at the end of October. And, looking back from that time for the last 7 months, I've come a long way. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
speaking to people all over the world has been absolutely amazing. And I have to consciously remember that. And, I started a notebook where I have all my wins wrote down of everything that, I try to do, what they call it, a emotional bank account, to try to write down all these things that I've accomplished, to remember that it's not all negative. I have done a lot of great things, even just since I began. So it's all about, getting that right mindset in order and keeping it there. So.
Yeah. Well, and I've invested, I don't know, probably close to 100K this year in growing this business. And I've definitely probably 3x'd it in the course of that time. Mm-hmm. So to recognize that, and here's the thing that's really weird. When I started, and I made the first 10K investment, right, in the Client Kit program, that goal was to build a 6-figure business. Okay, so I've had other 6-figure businesses doing different things, but this was a whole new thing. And I had nothing. And I wanted to do 10K a month. And by the time I was done with that program, which took a couple of months, right, of going through that, and then I moved into the upper echelon program, which was another investment of another 25K on top of that. I immediately joined with a group of people who considered 100K a month the norm. So immediately I was falling short because I was only thinking 10K was good, right? So now I'm measuring everything by 100K a month. That's 10 times the amount. It's crazy, right? But what I realized is that, these people are talking about selling 100K a month in their own programs. Well, I look back and I'm but I've already sold more than 100K a month for other people. So that number does not scare me because it's it only scared me because it was me, my own stuff. But then when I realized, well, I've already sold that for other people. So as long as I have the leads, I have no problem doing that for myself, right? So it all of a sudden it shifts everything. Everything that is in your head is it's made up. You can make it whatever you want. That's why the community and the environment is really important too, right? And so some people I talk to, oh yeah, well I have a program I sell for $2,500. And I'm yeah, well increase it to $5,500, increase it to $7,500. And they're oh my God, I can't do it. But see, to me, it's why not? There's a million people out there that'll pay $7,500 for a program. Yeah. Right? So it's because you're just seeing things different. You're in a different sphere, but you're still in the same world. You're just in a different influence sphere. So those are the things. I'm not, and you can't radically jump. I was actually in my spiritual class the other night and they were talking about levels of spiritual consciousness and awareness. And they're you can't just go from this level to this level. You do have to go through the levels, right? You can't, it's not possible for the human mind to contemplate this, dramatic shift. And I guess it's possible, but it's not normal, right? So it's okay for people to kind of come in and say, okay, well, I'm going to be comfortable selling a 5K program and then maybe I can sell a 10K, right? And then whatever. So it will take a little time, but it's recognizing that there's other people that have done it. And so you're just on track. You're doing fine, right? With where you are.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's good, Cammie. And, like I said, reach out when something like that is happening and you're saying okay, what's the thing? So what I think, if you guys, I know you're busy and you've got your work and you're trying to, follow the program and you've got some other projects going and all of that, which is great. But whenever you do have time to kind of do this 25K in 25 days, I was thinking of a way to apply that would be not trying to make money right now necessarily, but trying to make friends. Like try to go out and start interacting with some coaches who you would really like to sell for. And if you go into the High Ticket Sales Alliance, I'm not the Alliance, the collaborative, the big group, and you go on members and you start looking around and you seeing who's in there and you start seeing, what they do. And you say, oh yeah, there's a person that, seems to be out there, has their own group. Join their group. Start like commenting on the stuff they're doing. Like you don't have to like go and say, do you want to be my friend? Do you want me to sell for you? Like that is the bad way. But if you go and you start, like they make a comment and you actually say, geez, that makes a lot of sense. And ask a question or do something that starts getting engaged, right? You're just getting those conversations going. Now you're finding out about what makes people tick, right? You're learning about these coaches and you're learning about people who are potentially people who will be buying into our program, right? So it will serve you well to start serving others. So it's actually something that I'm going to focus on in the month of June. Like, I'll be doing a lot more within the Facebook group now that I realize it's a year and it's like, okay, I got to shift gears here. It's got to be more about the people because now I got 900 people in there. Last year was about building it. This year is about, I got to serve these people now. So, part of what I really want to do is to go out and start kind of stalking them. Like, who's out there? Like, who are the good people? And I'm not going to like go after people who think like I think, or I don't relate to. I mean, those people will be like, fine. But they're people who are out there posting that are obviously, have the same values, right? Who have a really good program that they're offering to people. Because for us, we want to start evaluating like whose stuff would I like to sell? I mean, I want to sell people's programs or have introduced you guys to people whose programs I think are going to change the world, like do good work. So, without ever pushing yourself, just be a supporter. So if you want to follow a guy, his name is Nick Peterson. It's the NIC Peterson. He's in our group. You will just watch what he does and start copying what he does. So every time I make a post, it doesn't matter if it's in my group or someone else's group or anywhere. He happens to be in my mastermind that I'm in the upper echelon. He comments and supports me and says something about, oh, you guys should listen to Janet Clark. She was like the top high ticket salesperson out there, right? He just says stuff. Or, if you're not in Janet's program, then, you're a knucklehead or, he'll say things. But he's just like, he's just there. And he doesn't do it for any reason other than to support people. So what happens is he doesn't just do it to me. So all of the people who he does this for, and there's hundreds of them, are like, everybody loves Nick. The reason they love Nick is because Nick supports them, right? So it's just, and he like literally will tell you, like he barely works. He just goes out and helps a whole bunch of people. That was a Zig Ziglar quote, right? If you help enough people get what they want, then you're going to get what you want. Mm-hmm. So anyway, someday I'll bring Nick on because he has some amazing stories. But like he literally 3 years ago was sleeping in a warehouse. And now he's like a multimillionaire. And it's all because of the people that he's associated with. But he also, he runs a gym now and he has a whole nutrition program, but he's really a business guy. He's got a business coaching But follow people like that. There's a guy, I'll start cluing you guys in on who to follow, right? I'll send you little notes and say, watch this person, watch this person. Because they're doing a lot of good things. And if you can get noticed by them, right, and kind of get on the radar screen, and if I see you commenting on their stuff, then I can reinforce something too. You know, I'll always do that. So, you know, it's fine to do the likes and all of that, but if you can come up with some way to actually say something, it helps. And it's hard at first, but you get good at it if you copy what other people are doing.
Yeah. I knew Janet and I had spoke about that the last time we were on a call. And even still, when I go through Facebook or something, I'm always thinking like, oh, that makes sense. But it's hard for me to come up with things to comment on because I've never really been into social media before any of this. So I'm still learning that as well.
Yeah, it's hard. It was, and it has been for me too. Like literally, I had no social media presence a year ago. Nothing. I was like scared. If you go in my wall and you look back to a year ago, like May or June or whatever it was, and I made my first post on social media, and I was like apologizing on my Facebook page. Like, I never talk about my business, but my coach tells me I have to. So here I go. Do you have any? This is what I do. Right? I didn't even know what I did at that point. So it was hard. And I still find it hard. I really do. I really don't, you know, the 25K in 25 days has been good for me because I had to get on there every day for 25 days. And half of the days I screw up. Today was actually funny. You were on there, right, Cammie? I didn't even know what day it was. And Linda posted on there. So I'm trying not to acknowledge the people who are on there because I'm recording these and they're going to go into the autoresponder. So sometimes people aren't going to be seeing them live. They're just going to be seeing them recorded. So then she posts that, like, today's not day 22, it's day 23. And it like totally like, what? Huh? I've had it wrong every day this week. So
Wow.
I went on a trip last weekend. And when I was traveling, I lost, you know, it was Memorial Day, and I just lost track of what day it is. And now I don't even know what day we're on. She's like, yeah, you just don't want it to end. So,
Yeah, I know I've missed the last couple of days, but I was thinking just the other day about going back and rewatching all of them again, kind of, you know, all in order. I think it was day 4. You said you were having trouble.
oh yeah, I didn't record that one. I'll do that this weekend. I'll record it.
I was gonna
Because
say if you thought about going back and recording that, but
yeah, I got to record that. And then there's another day I missed too, which is why I'm off this week. I think there was like day 21. I couldn't get the recording either.
yeah.
So
Also, well, I know how you load them up on YouTube. Is there a chance like you could do it all on a single playlist rather than having to go through and click all the links?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like for YouTube, because all the videos are unlisted.
Yeah.
Can you do them like all on a playlist so if I was to go back and rewatch them all, rather than having to go through all the emails and click all the individual links?
Yeah. Well, I'll ask Crystal to do that.
It's no big deal if you can. I was just curious. I mean, because it's definitely not something that you would want to watch just one time, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I will ask her to do that and put the titles on them so that if somebody said, oh, I want to go back to this day that was about perseverance or determine whatever I have, you know,
Right.
they could do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will definitely do that. And we can just make them, they'd still be unlisted in the playlist though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It just was, instead of having to go through all the emails and click each individual link to find the right video, then you could, you know, see it all on one page.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's worth going through. I'm going to go through it myself in June because, you know, there's a lot of things that are really key in there, right? This whole thing, like I have a ton of people I need to reach back out to with the, you know, are you still interested in a high ticket salesperson, you know, kind of thing, or are you still interested in getting matched up with a coach? You guys could do it. It doesn't, you know, if you do it and you're reaching out to people within the Dan Law community, you could you just revise the email. It doesn't have to say, you could even say, are you still looking for a coach to sell for? Right? Or are you still looking for a match? And then you could have a conversation with them. Or you don't even have to, you could have a little conversation and just say, oh yeah, well, I'm working with the Freedom Shift, blah, 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 blah. Here's the link to the recording. And then they could go and, see the video. Because one of the things I'm realizing is if they haven't seen the video about the High Ticket Sales Alliance, the call is all about what the High Ticket Sales Alliance is about. And you never really get to the next stage, which is, talking about whether they want to be in the program.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what it is, right? So there's those two things, right? Do they know the program works? You want them knowing that before they come on the phone. And then will it work for them is what you want to be talking about. So I can get you that link this week, and then people can go and they could, watch the video, get on the list, which would be really good because what you would be doing is generating more people onto the, our email list. Once they get on our email list, I have all kinds of email sequences that go out. And I'll be having separate sequences for the salespeople and the coaches. So that'll be really good.
Yeah.
And then, the only question will be how we're going to track that. But anyway, we'll figure that out. For now, it's just, we'll just do it and make sure everybody gets in the loop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just have to be those guys, if you go into another group and you see a coaches that's, looking for questions about sales, then, you can make little comments without being the pushy, right? And you make some comments and say, oh yeah, well, I was introduced to Janet Clark and she has a great program about sales. I actually had that happen recently in a group. Somebody asked about sales and 2 different people recommended me. And that person actually booked a call, reached out to me on Facebook, booked a call and signed up for the Alliance. And it was a coach. So anytime you see anybody that's looking for a salesperson, rather than pushing yourself, you can just push the idea of, me in the Alliance, because then it feels like non-pushy, right, for you, because you're recommending someone else. And then that gets them onto our list. And, even if they don't buy right away, when they come on, and if it's somebody that you referred to the list or you have a conversation, certainly tell me. Say, I had a conversation, this guy that I'm going to talk to in a few minutes, the other Jerry in our program, he does that a lot. He's out on LinkedIn a lot. And he'll email me and say, oh, I just spoke to Kristen Nolan and she's going to probably be reaching out to you. And then next thing I know, she's booked on my calendar. And I know that it was somebody that Jerry referred to me. So I can keep track of it that way too.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, we might as well, start infiltrating the market, because little by little, as I share with you some of the great things that we're going to be doing. So you're going to learn. This is kind of your product knowledge time, where you're going to start learning about what's going on with the, when I first started in sales with AT&T, I had to go through months of product knowledge before I ever got sales training, right? I had to know, what am I selling? So part of as the Alliance comes up to speed and the other programs that we're going to be doing, the Coach's Secret and, the 25K in 25 days and all those come up, you will have the opportunity to learn about them. So then you can start talking about them in other groups, which would be cool. Yeah. Did you know that there's actually a company that will do both the marketing and the sales?
Yeah.
And guarantee that anything you invest in building your funnel, they're going to sell back for you in an ROI?
Yeah. speaking of which, I may already have one for you for that. I'll mention it to him when I get a chance. I know he was kind of following Russ Ruffino there for a while. I'm not sure if he went through Russ's program or not, but it was actually the guy with the health retreat that I spoke with you about last time. You remember that?
Okay, yeah. Well, we
And-
love anybody who's been through Russ's program, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what he did. I know, that's kind of where we met at, but I was telling you about reaching back out to him and you said, don't, and I didn't. But literally within the week, he reached back out to me and he's like, hey guys, you ready to try this again? He's like, I've been working on this. I guess he hired somebody else. They've been working on that as well. And they're actually getting ready to relaunch the program again.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, if he's got something he can give you leads and you feel comfortable with it, go for it. But yeah.
Oh, that's what I say. It's actually me and another guy. So I don't know how many leads he's going to get. It's still kind of in that. It almost feels the same as it did the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much improvement he's done, or if it's going to work again. It may just be another.
Yeah. So he may be. So a lot of people. So just so you know, these programs, Client Kit and COD, and there's probably a few others out there that teach people how to, develop their high ticket program and do the ads to generate, do the webinar and send the ads to the webinar and all of that. They really teach a do-it-yourself model. Maybe a little done with you, where they'll have some people on their staff that will advise them on the Facebook ads and stuff, but it's not done for you. And, it's kind of misleading because these guys that are offering the program, Russ Ruffino or Chris and Taylor, they are expert marketers and they have teams, right? So they've got the cream of the crop that are out there marketing for them. And now they're trying to teach people how to do it themselves when they don't even do it themselves for them. Well, Taylor and Chris do because that's their thing. But, Russ Ruffino, he doesn't do his own marketing.
Yeah. I didn't even know who Russ was 6 months ago. So but I really don't know that much about him. But it does seem like the guy is trying to do most of the things himself, and he's kind of like winging it and learning as he's going. So yeah, if I get a chance, I'll definitely mention that, or about you to him, and then maybe his next attempt will actually work. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, they teach a lot of organic strategies too, right? Organic and just reaching out on your own, which is fine to learn because you don't want to start paying for Facebook traffic if your funnel doesn't work. So you're trying to test out these funnels, but the funnels have a lot of nuances to them. I mean, these guys have professional copywriters, right? They know a lot about marketing. And the average person like me, I'm like, I got to go pay someone to do this. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
But either way, yeah, so definitely, I know we only got a couple minutes left for the week. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get back into Facebook. I know I've been slacking on that. Going to continue on the 25K, 25 days. And Cammie, I want to reach out to you as well so we can chat sometime. Definitely, get together on that. But other than that, also congratulations on your wedding. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning.
Yeah, he's getting married in August, so he's got a little time to ramp up here.
Okay. Yeah, that's my birthday month. But yeah, I was surprised though, if nothing else, we just need to chat and get to know each other because either way. All right.
So you good, Cammie? Any other thoughts or questions?
No, none yet.
Okay, well, keep on writing. Keep on, canceling those thoughts and bringing in the new thoughts. Work on your morning manifesto. If it gets boring, add some more exciting things to it.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Janet.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.